Matthew chapter 10, verse 16 is important to understand because the chapter goes on into verses 39 through 41, which provide an even more detail of how the process works. Verse 39 starts, "He that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it. He that receiveth you receiveth me, and he that receiveth me receiveth him that sent me. He that receiveth a prophet in the name of a prophet shall receive a prophet's reward, and he that receiveth a righteous man in the name of a righteous man shall receive a righteous man's reward." And that's a big one. So these verses are each going to need to be broken down into pieces so that a proper explanation can be given and context can be provided to these verses. Starting with verse 39, God says, "He that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loseth his life for my name's sake shall find it." This is leading straight back to verse 10, in which we can draw the conclusion that we find our lives first by seeking God, and after accepting him, we lose it. For we are sent out as sheep in the midst of wolves, only to be expected to be slaughtered, and in the process of being slaughtered, losing our lives, God is able to lead us to a place where we are safe. "And he that loseth his life for my name's sake shall find it." This verse directly relates to verse 16 in the same chapter 10 in the book of Matthew, only being told in a more precise way. Verse 40 says, "He that receiveth you receiveth me, and he that receiveth me receiveth him that sent me." This verse starts a chain, a connection, a chain of links in which we are able to see how God acts within all of our lives. He that receives from you also receives from me, and he that receives me receives also he that sent me. God is creating a chain for us sheep to herd to overcome the wolves that we face. In this verse, we are acting as vessels to provide to another in the name of the Lord, and then receiving that in the name of the Lord, while we as the senders also receive from the Lord through another person receiving. The chain starts with you as the sender, the next link being the person who receives, and that chain ending with God, because everything is through and by and from God. In this verse, the chain starts with you, goes to the next, and ends with God, only for it to be reversed back to you from God through the receiver that you have sent to. It's crazy. And then verse 41 provides the second chain in which he provides answers to what would appear missing in reality, saying, "He that receiveth a prophet in the name of a prophet shall receive a prophet's reward." He that receives a prophet, you as the prophet that gives to someone when they receive in the name of God through you, right? "And he that receiveth a righteous man in the name of a righteous man shall receive a righteous reward." Right? In this chain, he that receives a righteous man in the name of a righteous man's reward. So he is called a righteous man for his actions. What he does, the things that he does is what makes him a righteous man. There's nothing from that. It's just that. Not because he is directly rewarded for what he does, but because it is through God, in the name of God, receives a righteous man's reward. So this chain, God is the middleman between you and the receiver. Here, God is telling you that your actions and good deeds do not always come with a reward, but the reward you deserve is promised. When you do good to others, the actions always have meanings, even if it's not right in front of your face, even if they don't show it to you, even if it's not from them. Even if you have the right intent and the right purposes, it's always going to get the job done. It's always going to be received. It's always going to come from God. And the reward from God is promised by God.